Okay, please pay attention here. When you talk about the digestion and absorption, when you talk about the human physiology, okay, in human physiology, you have to study this first chapter that is called digestion. Okay, I want you should be ready with a pen and pencil and all the reading part. When you talk about the digestion, what is digestion? First of all, whatever we eating has to be converted into the glucose, and oxygen should be required for burning of the glucose so we can have a ATPs. So in a physiology we have all digestive system in a human that we are going to study. Okay, so this is all according to NEET perspective. Okay, so NCRT are in too much detail right now, so we'll try to cover and we'll solve some MCQs as well. So let's start. When you talk about the digestion, but why there is absorption, there is a question. Once you digest, definitely you get a glucose or other minerals and something. So that has to be absorbed. So digestion majority done by the GIT, that is gastrointestinal tract, mostly in stomach. Then absorption should be in smaller intestine, large intestine for unwanted material, right? Yes. Okay. So the first thing, animals are not able to synthesize their own food because we are not autotrophs, right? Are we autotrophs? No. So the term nutrition refers to the sum total of all process related to with conversion of raw material into the sub. Sorry, let's have a simple thing. Whatever we eating has to be converted into simple. For example, plant makes the glucose action, then make it to starch. Then we eating starch, we break down into glucose again. So what we are doing, complex to simpler one. But again, after getting glucose, whatever the amount of there, we utilize it. And that glucose again converted to glycogen. Again, we are what doing from simpler to complex for a storage purpose. So this convergence is all going on. This is point is clear. So the repair and growth, it is very useful that. So food intake, how can you take a food intake? Different organisms obtain the food into different ways. In case of amoeba, pseudopodia we have observed, right? So that is the one unicellular organism. But here there are carry out a similar chemical reaction to utilize it. To take the food, protozoans use pseudopodia. Flagella. What is flagella or cilia? This is flagella. And cilia is what? Hair-like projection structure to go, like in paramecium, right? Sponges and the muscles. A current of water. What is current of water? You must have seen the sponges like this. They have a osticule. Osticule means what? Osticule means what? A air, we can say current of water will be there. Okay, so hydra tentacles will be there. Now what is that? Insect and other arthropods mouth parts of the various kinds. What I actually we are studying that the entry of food should be there. Okay, so this part, food intake will be there. Now after food intake, what is there? Obviously the digestion. So what is digestion according to you? What is digestion? Converting the complex to simpler one, right? According to very layman language. So the process by which complex food is converted into the simplest food with the help of digestive enzymes. That is called hydrolytic enzyme. Why hydrolytic? Hydro means water. Lytic means to break down. So why? Because food is actually what? Into converted into bolus. What is bolus? Saliva is bolus. What is bolus? When you eat the food, that is the dry food. But for the peristalsis process, what is peristalsis process? Correct. For that, you need a lubricant. Lubricant is act like what? To move the bolus. What is bolus? Yeah. What is bolus? When you have a food plus your saliva is mixed, is called the bolus. That bolus. Okay. When the food is add up with the salivary amylase, that is the saliva, it's called as a bolus. And this bolus actually get pushed forward. So this undergo what? Digestive enzymes, that is called hydrolytic enzyme, is called a digestion. So what is digestion process? Is the process in which the food is digested. From complex to we are converting into again with simpler one, that is called the digestion. So what are the types of digestion? First is intracellular. What is intra? Can you anybody tell me the difference between internet and intranet? Okay, so Wi-Fi is what? Inter or intra? Inter. You can on Wi-Fi you can connect your devices, right? But what is intranet? only two PCs are there, they can actually communicate with the intranet. So what is intra? Inside, only the limited space is there. And inter means what? Whole space is available. So intracellular, when the process of digestion occurs within the cell in the food vacuole, within the cell. In case of amoeba, we can say that, right? So example, protozoa, porifera. What is porifera? All the porous. On the body, there are pores. Coelenterata and a free living platyhelminthes are there. Okay, now what is the intracellular? Inside the vacuole is going to happen. Now extracellular, the moment I say extracellular means what? Obviously outside the cell. When the process of digestion occurs outside the cell. Example, coelentrates and the phylum platyhelminthes or phylum chordata means what? For example, mosquito. What is the difference between mosquito and normal fly? Can anybody tell me? Mosquito bites, that's correct. That means it's sucking the blood, is not able to make their own food. That's why they're sucking the blood. But in case of fly, they actually spit on the food. The food is getting what? Digested outside the body and then they will eat. In case of mosquito, they directly suck the blood. But in case of fly, what is the difference? Have you seen the mosquito doing something like this? So what they're doing? They're giving what? Saliva outside. So outside the, suppose there is a samosa. Now it's very creepy to see hear that samosa is there. I'm spitting on the samosa. What's going to happen? Salivary amylase will going to act, but other will be not act. But in case of fly, all the enzymes are activated outside the body. So the fly is what responsible for outside body digestion. Then can eat the simpler food. Okay, that's why contamination is happening. That's why contamination is happening. Correct. Instead of talking among self, you can talk to me. I will give you the proper answer. Don't worry. Okay, it's better. It's better. Ask me. Ask me. Now, when you talk about the digestive system of the human, you have to study about digestive tract, or it's also called as a alimentary canal. It's also called a digestive glands. What do you mean by glands? You must have heard about the squamous glands, then glandular glands. What is squamous? Squamous epithelium, something you have to heard. Stratified epithelium. What's that? Then goblets. Protective layer is all about the squamous. So what is goblet cell? Have you heard about the goblet cell? The one who secretes. So similarly, we have digestive glands who's responsible for secretion of some enzyme. So on the basis of embryonic origin, the alimentary canal of the vertebrates can be divided into three parts. What do you mean by vertebrates? Can anybody tell me? Hum means what? Hum. Can the right answer hum? Yes, backbone will be there. Or that is called chordata. Chordata. Okay. So on the basis of the that we got foregut or a ectodermal. What is ectodermal? When the zygote is formed, it's a unicellular. Then the mass will be formed. Cellular mass will be formed. Then three things are going to form. Mesoderm, endoderm, ectoderm. Meso means middle part will going to form. Ecto, uh, below part will be formed. And upper part will be formed that. So there are T derm. Derm means what? Derma. Derma means what? Layer. Derma means what? A layer. So this is the endodermal. Midgut is what? Sorry, this is the ectoderm. Midgut, mesoderm is formed by endoderm. It includes small intestine. Hindgut is what? Ectoderm. What is the derm? When the zygote undergoes the cellular activity, cell mass will be formed. And now these cells are responsible for formation of the whole organs. So some cell goes upside, some cells remain at the middle part, some cells goes to down. So middle part, meso, is going to form your internal organs. Above, brain and all going to form. Below, all going to form that. Are you getting my point? So that on the basis of this is going to happen. Okay, this is not that much important. Let's go further. Parts of the alimentary canal and its histology. Why we have to study the histology? What is histology? Study of tissues. Histology give the idea why the structure is like that. What is the main function of that? So when you talk about this, the mouth is a transverse slit. Slit means what? Transverse split by the two movable lips or a labia, upper lip and a lower lip. Upper lip has a small ridges on the sides, the ridges like this. Okay. What is this? In middle and the vertical groove pattern on the above. Why this is mechanism? We should have a normal lip, right? Why we have this? Why this is? To properly engulf. I'm like properly we can have a because tongue is responsible for that. Now let's talk about the vestibule. What is vestibule here? It is a narrow space between the lips and the gums, in front of the gums and the cheeks on the sides, right? There will be a space. Why there will be a space? Again, the same reason will be there. What? Okay. In the vestibule, a small median fold of the mucous membrane, the superior labium frenulum. Superior frenulum is there. Connects the middle of the upper lip to the gum. So can I say that this actually connect towards your gum and the palate will be start with them. Okay. So can I say that it's an extension of the your gums? Yes. So connects the middle upper lips to the gum, usually similar to the smaller anterior labia frenum. Connects the lower lip to the gum. Okay. Gum are not cartilages, but they form such a mass if you appear like a cartilages. Okay. It's a mass. Because inside the gum, when you go to root canal, if you do the gum like injury will be there is a blood vessel. In cartilages, there is no blood. Getting my point? So more amount of blood will be there. Because gum are responsible for the giving the protection to the teeth, holding of the teeth. So there has to be have the vascular things. Okay, let's go further. This is NCRT will be there, definitely. Now, human alimentary canal. Now, again, I'm telling you, if you want to score good in NEET, one chapter from the NCRT at least 30 times you have to read. From the NCRT, 90% is covered and the 10% is remaining all the points. Other books will be there. So first you have to focus on the NCRT. So whatever I'm teaching is from NCRT plus little extra information. So can you see that this is mouth, this is a esophagus, this is a these things and all, right? Liver is there and all. So let's study about each and every detail. So what is that? Buccopharyngeal cavity. What is that? Buccopharyngeal cavity. What is buccal cavity? This is called a buccal cavity. Gums, right? So from the buccal to the pharyngeal. So it includes the anterior buccal cavity lined by the stratified squamous. Now, what is stratified? What do you mean by stratified? Stratified means layers on each other. That's called stratified. Squamous is the one first most epithelial cell which is responsible for the single lining, that is for protection and the exchange of these changes. For example, in alveoli, what is alveoli? Lung part. So there is a squamous epithelium will be there single layer. Why? Exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide has to be taken place, right? So that has to be a single layer. If I use a stratified over there, exchange will be difficult. Getting my point? So that has to be a stratified squamous where buccopharyngeal cavity, because food has to be pushed forward as well, right? So you need an extra, because absorption is not going to take place here. Absorption is going to take place in a intestine. Which one? Smaller intestine. So posterior pharyngeal cavity lined by the columnar epithelium cell. What are the columnar epithelium cell? See, as I again mentioned, today lecture is about the NEET. So I'm going to tell you in detail. Okay. So what are the columnar cell? These are the columnar cells. Okay. They can have a no, cuboidal is cube-like. Columnar is a bigger one. Columnar have a center nucleus as a base. So they have a space, so they can have a goblet cell over there for a secretion purpose. So it distinguishes into the three regions. Pharynx is the vertical canal beyond the soft palate. Beyond the soft panel is what? Pharynx will be there. The food and the air passage cross here. Is it possible to take breathe and eat together? Why? It's a common passage is there, right? Pharynx may be divided into the three parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and the larynx. So what is the sound box? Where is the sound box? This is called a sound. Why there is a sound from there itself? Voice box. Yes, 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 yes.